the plea here, if you have any extra money, the school committee's looking for money, like every school committee in the state. We're trying to balance our budget. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to come here today and serve as the moderator. So I will do a quick introduction of each of our speakers, both of whom have, I think, a PowerPoint presentation, and say just a word or two about the panel, and then we'll start with them and open it up for discussion after that. To my right is one of our guests is Mira Levinson, who is an assistant professor at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. She has an educational background that includes philosophy, a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, and a PhD in politics. But she also, I had a 2-year stint as a high school teacher. She's been in the trenches longer than I. She was a middle school, I think it was mostly middle school? All middle school teacher in Boston and Atlanta for 8 years. So she has, she certainly is not just in the ivory tower, if you will. She's been in the school classroom. And at the Harvard Graduate School, she focuses particularly around issues of civic education. She's involved with an initiative called the Civic and Moral Education Initiative, and I think she will be talking about that today, something she refers to as the Civic Achievement Gap, and is working on a book right now, a book project called Solving the Civic Empowerment Gap. I look forward to hearing her on those issues. To my left is Charlie Lyons, who's a superintendent and director of the Shawshene Valley Technical School District, and also has a kind of extensive experience in local government. Academically, he has a bachelor's and master's degree from Boston State College, now UMass Boston. He has a distinction of being an 18-year-old elected member of the Arlington School Committee.
Not today.
No, that was a few years ago. But at 18, he joined the school committee. So he was certainly seeing school politics from that perspective, and then was on the Board of Selectmen in Arlington for a number of years. And I actually knew of him at that point. I was on the Watertown Town Council for 8 years before I went to the school committee, and I knew Charlie through the Mass Municipal Association and those activities. And he actually served as president of the National League of Cities, which is a nationwide organization, quite a prestigious position. But for much of that time, since '87, he has been the superintendent and director at the Shawshene Valley Technical School. So he will bring that perspective to our discussion. So as Nani said, the focus here is around the case, as the title is, the case of civic education. And we're really, I think, particularly concerned with kind of what's the purpose of education. You know, there's a lot of education issues that one could talk about, finance and accountability and a variety of other things, and those may come up perhaps in the course of our discussion. But our angle, if you will, or our focus is kind of what's the purpose of education, and in that context we think about a variety of different possible purposes. You know, civic education, individual development for students, job opportunities, you know, civic or skill development. There's a kind of a list of things one might look at, and so our focus is kind of thinking about that and what the government and the marketplace, the nexus between those two, and what that means for the purpose for public education. So with that as a quick introduction, let me turn it over